The season resumes following the Olympic break for the Golden Knights, sans some of its top players. VGK will be up against it in a 4-point Pacific Division contest in Los Angeles Wednesday night. Our previews ahead right here on Lockdown Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again from Las Vegas, Tony Dasco and Chris Gawlik. We appreciate you tuning in, and welcome to Lockdown Golden Knights, part of the Lockdown Podcast system, and now the #1 sports podcasting network. I'm a longtime sportscaster, a marketing consultant, and the host of the Believe in Vegas podcast. And Chris is the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and also the host of the Hockey News Collectible Show. Coming up ahead on today's show, the season resumes following the Olympic break as VGK skates in LA. No word yet from the NHL on sites for the World Cup of Hockey. Where will they be played? They're picking 2 sites, and we know that Las Vegas has a very strong bid. We'll talk about that. And then our locks, props, and chants for Wednesday night's game in LA. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Use your profit boost on an NBA future bet, and you can get entered for a chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Go to FanDuel.com. And also, please make sure to tune in daily, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Catch our show on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. That is SSSEN. Cox Cable Channel 77, and also on YouTube TV. So, Chris, the Golden Knights resuming their schedule. 25 games remain, minus some players as VGK travels on Wednesday night to play the Kings in LA. Jack Eichel and Noah Hanifin, as we know, they went to the White House to meet the president and to attend the State of the Union address. They had the experience of traveling from Miami straight from Club 11. I think they just got out of the club and went straight there to Air Force One. Eichel and Hanifin, as we guessed, were scratched for the game in LA on Wednesday. And meanwhile, Bruce Cassidy returned to practice yesterday. And Mitch Marner, Mark Stone, and Shea Theodore were not at practice. They obviously are suffering from post-Olympic fatigue. And it didn't seem as though these 3 were going to play. Cassidy saying that they are considering giving these players some time to decompress. Do they just show up on Wednesday morning at the 11 a.m. skate before leaving and then playing the game, or would you rest them?
Get on the ice, get to work. Find a way to maybe manage the minutes, roll 4 lines, don't overtax them, but get back on the ice and get back to work. I maintain that on yesterday's show. My perspective has not wavered one bit, although the gem of JT Miller singing whatever that song was all by himself at 11. We might not have received a gem like that if it wasn't for the players getting an extra day off. So maybe you watch some of this, you're like, okay, we're getting some cool media moments here and some cool social media posts. But no, I mean, listen, Olympics were optional. Players chose to go. They didn't have to go if they didn't want to. They chose to go. That's awesome. Now it's time to get back work to your employer and find a way to get 2 standings points, because Golden Knights are going to need them in this Pacific Division where we talked again yesterday. These teams that are just kind of hanging out, they're going to turn on at some point, starting with the Kings, who are going to have plenty of momentum. Yes, they're without Fiala. That's unfortunate, but they get Artemi Panarin, and Kopitar is in his last gasp now for his career and everything. And the Golden Knights are going to come in with, a third of the Henderson Silver Knights.
I've got to hand it to Bruce Cassidy. He really handled his presser very well. Again, he's just top line. And he said, it's time to get back to your day job. That's what
it's time to get back to your day job, Shea Theodore, Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, Noah Hanifin, and Mark Stone. Did I say Mark Stone?
He's great. Again. It was announced yesterday that Colton Sissons, Braden McNabb, Braden Saad have all been activated. Tomas Hertl and Rasmus Anderson returned on Monday. And there were some call-ups, Tanner Lazinski, Kai Uchez, and Dylan Coughlin. Oh, man, that sounds really familiar. Somebody said that those 2 centers should be up there as well as a defenseman. And so, you also had some late breaking news. Here we are recording our show on Tuesday evening about one Carter Hart.
Yeah, Carter Hart just today, February 24th, placed on LTIR. We also reported that he suffered a setback within about the last 2
You
to
did
3
say that. Very
weeks.
good, man. Yeah, you
And
reported
now
that.
it all makes sense. And if there's a spot where I'll jump on the Tony LTIR rigged bandwagon, maybe this could be it. Yes, the Golden Knights don't receive a benefit necessarily because if Carter Hart does go on LTIR, therefore they cannot really activate him come playoff time if they replace his salary. But definitely seems like a great opportunity for just to kind of take it easy with Carter Hart because they have two able goalies in Aiden Hill, hopefully, and Kira Schmid, hopefully, who have been okay throughout the season. Schmid a little better than Hill, but to Hill's credit, he had a really good game against the Kings before the Olympic break, which feels like about 4 years ago.
Yeah, and Cassidy, another one of his comments on Tuesday was about Aiden Hill, perhaps one of the players that he would have liked that season to be extended rather than going into the break because he felt that he was starting to come into form.
Yeah, I mean, we're grasping at straws here. We're definitely reaching for, him to be a capable goalie, I guess, when comments like that are made. On the flip side, that tells me there's a concern about how he's been playing throughout the season. His stats don't lie. He's been in the bottom of nearly every regular and advanced stat as far as goalies go for the 70-something goalies that have now played in like 10 or more games this season. So, yeah, I mean, listen, it's time for him to turn this around, turn his season around. And the beauty of a VGK goalie is, listen, it's nice if they're a 925 save percentage and, absolutely crushing it like we've seen some goalies do, including Aiden Hill at times. But really, they're looking for a goalie to be slightly above the league average, gets like a 903 save percentage. And with Cassidy's system, it bodes well for the team winning more games.
I want to talk about the new look Kings, and their power play was on the ice on Tuesday. It is the bread man, Artemi Panarin, Alex Laferriere, and Adrian Kempe. And the Kings, as we know, as you mentioned too, now missing Kevin Fiala, injured in the Olympics, out for the season. And they're trying to make a trade, apparently, with St. Louis for Robert Thomas, according to reports. Ken Holland with an extra $7.9 million to replace Fiala. The Kings also on Tuesday, Chris, contacted the Canadiens about Patrick Laine as they need a top six forward. Kempe returning to practice Tuesday, along with Drew Doughty and Joel Armia. And the guess here might be that Warren Fogle moves to the third line from, again, to take that spot of Kevin Fiala. That's going to be hard to replace him, but they just need to be able to compete there with that third line now in the absence of Fiala.
So right now, the Kings have $12.6 million in cap space. Kevin Fiala and his $7.8 million have not been moved to LTIR. That puts the Kings right up at $20 million, give or take, to work with to improve this team. And it's been noted, like you said, they got some. What if they get Fiala and Rob Thomas and Patrick Laine? Like that's what certainly could happen down the stretch here. And I'm telling you, this Kings team might be trouble. It's a team that no one was really overly concerned about. You figure you pencil them in for third place in the Pacific, you pencil them for a first round exit against the Oilers, and you move on. But I don't think it's going to be that easy. I really think they're going to load up. And what a send off if they can make a deep playoff run for Anze Kopitar's final NHL season, which still makes me sad.
Are you kind of surprised that there was no maneuvering or no deal was consummated there as, again, the Olympic freeze just ended over the past couple of days? Are you surprised that nothing was announced yet?
There was I thought Avalanche did a small deal or something.
No, I meant with the Kings. The Kings.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. With the new development with Fiala and the fact that there was a freeze, I'm doing air quotes right now. I'm sure GMs were still talking. I think stuff is in the works, and I think like many teams, these next 5-6 games leading up to the trade deadline, which is only a week and a half away, right? Next week from Friday, if my math is correct. So this is go time. This is going to be really exciting for the next 4 months.
Oh, by the way, Artemi Panarin will get his number 72. He got it from Bailey, the LA Kings mascot. He had to give up the Rolex. They had a really nice social media post. Coming
God, I
up
gotta
next,
find this. That's good.
it's on my timeline. Following the success of the Olympics and, of course, last year's Four Nations face-off, the league is planning for the 2028 World Cup of Hockey. Las Vegas has put in a bid. Hopefully, the tournament will be played here. We'll talk more about it next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? Well, FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here is how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA futures bet, and you will automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. That's right. Flights, tickets, the whole experience. If you're already looking at the board and thinking about which team can make that deep run, this is the perfect time to lock it in. We definitely love the futures this time of year, whether it's picking a team that you think can win the championship or to grab the conference title. It adds that extra layer of excitement to every game down the stretch. Visit FanDuel.com today to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for a chance to win a trip for two to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. It's time to get back to your day jobs. The Golden Knights, of course.
Day job. What's a job?
You and I
haven't had since let's see, March 2020. Okay.
2020. I'm going to go back to starting my consulting gig back in 2015. So there. One-upping you. And of course, speaking about one-upping, don't forget Fridays around here are WTF Day with all your comments. You can definitely one-up us all there. The NHL announcing that it would announce the two sites for the February 28th, 2028 World Cup of Hockey. They said it would be coming sometime after the Olympic Games concluded. So still no word yet, but we know that Las Vegas is still in the mix. They have a very strong bid, according to several reports and folks that we've spoken to. The last we heard was that the NHL, I think it was back in December or early January, Chris, they narrowed the list down to 16 cities, including 10 in Europe, I think, and 10 in North America, the remaining 6, I should say, in Europe. 25 cities put in proposals, and now it's pared down to 16. I doubt the NHL and its Players Association would want this event to go back to Europe, even though it's 2 years later. There are 2 host cities, perhaps one in the U.S., one abroad. I have a feeling, my suspicion is both of the sites will be in North America, and we do know the NHL confirmed that Boston and Montreal both had bids, but hey, they hosted the Four Nations. So give it up to Las Vegas.
Four Nations, the most important hockey tournament in history, according to Canadians, over the last 72 hours on Twitter after that Olympic loss to the United States. I mean, there's a lot of ways to go with this. I would think the NHL will keep this in North America, number one. It just seems like it would have more. I don't know. I mean, maybe this is selfish. I don't know how it would be, how exciting it would be overseas. And again, this is a local from North America talking. So if anyone international is watching this from Zimbabwe or
Singapore.
Or where's the other place where they watch from all the time?
I don't know, but we've got Singapore. That's
Singapore. There we go. You know,
not in Europe,
no disrespect to those wonderful nations, but point being is that it seems like it's more fitting for North America. And I'm just assuming when I say that. And then do they go one Canadian, one United States city? Do they go like an original 6? Like, I don't know, go Madison Square Garden and T-Mobile Arena? Or is it easier from a geographical perspective to do T-Mobile Arena and Crypto.com Staples Center, whatever you call it?
I think they'll go
in
east
LA.
And west. They'll go east and west. They're trying to grow
I think
the
so
game.
too, but you
trying
can
to
make
grow the game
arguments
of
to keep
hockey.
it close.
Okay. And so unlike the Four Nations, the World Cup of Hockey features 8 teams, and there's going to be, this is in 2028, a 12-day break and 17 games, a 17-game format. And so the Olympics really setting the stage for this next big tournament, best on best. Of course, the term I think that's overused, but I'm wondering, so this is in 28. So what do they do in 2027? Are we going to have the return of this stinking NHL All-Star game where they're trying to knock over cards or shooting pucks into Lake Bellagio? What happens then?
I mean, I think Alex Ovechkin might have said it, or Nikita Kucherov. You can't call it best on best without the Russians playing in the tournament. Again, just take that for the hockey sense, please. Don't go outside of that. People watching the show,
They should be playing. They should be invited. They should be invited. It's a shame. It's a shame.
I don't know. I'm just saying I support the notion that it's not best on best hockey.
How come
if Alex Ovechkin can't play in the tournaments?
Again, the lack of journalism here is frightening here in Las Vegas, because how come no one asked Pavel Dorofeev? How come no one asked any of these Russian players? How come they didn't ask them, Barbashev, about how it felt not going to the Olympic Games? I mean, that might be a nice little storyline, don't you think?
Yeah, people have lost credentials for less, Tony. But I mean, listen, there's so many great places, and I do agree. You go one Canadian, one United States. I think that would certainly make the most sense. And
go to Australia, for crying out loud.
I mean, Edmonton did a great job when they had the bubble. I thought that was pretty nice, and
that was fun.
T-Mobile Arena dresses up pretty nice when you do big events like a Stanley Cup final twice, or the NBA weird tournament that they do. They do a lot of fun things with the arena.
City responds.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. So I think Vegas would be a prime destination for Myriad reasons, on top of the fact that it's just the simplicity. Shove all the players in New York, or Bellagio, or Park MGM, and everything's nice and close, and it's just easier. I mean, Chicago United Center, you can argue it's a nice place to do it, but you don't have the hotels in walking distance. You don't be walking around anywhere on West Madison Street, to be completely frank with you. But areas around Boston and New York, sure, there's a lot of great reasons it should be there. And I don't know, Madison Square Garden and T-Mobile Arena, Tony, sign me up for that.
Okay, I just don't want to have to wake up at 5 a.m. to watch the final.
I'd love to wake up at 5 a.m. to watch a 6 a.m. hockey game in Vegas. I think it'd be wonderful.
I don't know how countries can compete, while they think about it, with the superpowers, right? So in the Olympic Games, we have, Canada and the U.S., and actually Sweden, I think, also had every single roster spot taken up by NHL players, all 25. And then bronze medalist Finland had 24 NHL players. And so it's actually going to be hard to compete with a lot of these countries that have nothing. We saw the difference there. I mean, my Goombas from Italy had 0 NHL players. It's going to be hard to compete with the superpowers, I think, moving forward. It's always going to be, I think, from this point forward. I mean, it'll be U.S., Canada, Sweden, Finland. That's it. I think those four.
I mean,
Czechia.
Didn't they win it in 98? I mean, that's the thing. Like, you never know, how it's going to shake out. And hockey is the greatest sport in the world. Part of it is because you look at the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, and it's not always going to be the 1 and the 2 seeds meeting the 1 and the 1 seeds meeting in the Stanley Cup final. You have some amazing stories of teams, especially like the LA Kings as an 8 seed, for example, not too long ago. I mean, that's about 10 years now, something like that. But point being is that's what makes hockey amazing. And sure, United States and Canada are pretty two good superpowers, but they both got, taken to overtime in the tournament itself recently. So, any given Sunday, Tuesday, any given 5 a.m., anyone can win. And that's the beauty of it. And World Cup of Hockey in Vegas, sign me up. It'd be a lot of fun. It wouldn't be as much fun as the Olympics necessarily, but it'd be a heck of a lot better than the Four Nations face-off, which is meaningless.
So the World Cup of Hockey actually debuted in 1996, was played in 2004, and then there was the 2016 revival, and then they could not reach an agreement in 2020, and in 2024, it was in the midst of Russia invading Ukraine, and so Hopefully things are peaceful. I'd like to see Russia back involved because it's not the athlete's fault, right, that they're not competing.
I still remember, and they played a series. It was Game 3 of the '96 World Cup of Hockey when Tony Amonte got the guy. I don't think it was the golden goal, but it was the game deciding goal. It was actually off his shin pad. It was amazing. But I remember watching that
It's not
live.
they don't call it
when it happened.
They don't call it, as I almost said, the Golden Globe. That's a different award. They don't call it the Golden Goal in World Cup.
What do they call it? So they give him a medal?
I don't know. We'll come up with
game
some
deciding
idea.
championship goal. Who gives a?
Coming up next,
Who gives a goal?
Our locks, props, and chants. Stay with us on Lockdown Golden Knights. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position that you have to fill is still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed, sponsored jobs help you reach the people who actually fit what you are looking for, skills, experience, location, so you're not just hoping that the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute or so that I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you are hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all the boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Spend less time searching, more time actually interviewing candidates who check those boxes. Less stress, less time, more results when you need the right person to cut through the chaos. This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of Lockdown Golden Knights, you will receive a $75 sponsored job credit to help to get your job the premium status and everything, the placement that it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now. Support our show, Lockdown Golden Knights, by saying that you heard about it on this podcast. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Welcome back, and thank you so much for making Locked On Golden Knights your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcasting network. Have we got an offer for you? Sign up today for the Locked On Everydayer Club. Use that promo code DEADLINE, that's DEADLINE, and you will receive a month free of the Everydayer Club, so you can try it out actually before you commit. Join today. Join the Locked On Everydayer Club and get ad-free audio, access to our members-only Discord, and much, much more, all built for our most loyal fans. Go to LockedOnPodcast.com/everydayer. So, Chris, it's time for our locks and everything else, predictions and what have you. This will be the fourth meeting between VGK and the Kings of the season, the final, right, matchup. Which I don't agree with. And that's another episode entirely where I think
they made it to February this year instead of December.
Yeah, this is true. They did make it to February, almost March. Vegas won 4-1 right before the Olympic break. They won earlier 3-2 in January. And then, of course, back in early October, 6-5 in favor of the Kings. A scheduled loss for the Golden Knights coming up on Wednesday evening. Not a lot of goals coming out of the Four Nations. Keep in mind, last year, most of the games went under the total. This could be really low numbers. I really do believe that coming out of the chute. The Kings called the past few days a mini camp. They called it a mini camp, which is kind of funny. VGK should have had like a week-long mini camp. That's another story. Darcy Kemper didn't play in Italy. He should be fresh to go in the game on Wednesday. I'm going with 3-2 Kings. I will go with Ivan Barbashev. Remember him? Seems like we forgot about that guy for a while. And Tomas Hertl. I'm going 3-2 LA Kings.
Yeah, that's fun.
Take the under.
The Golden Knights got to have a chip on their shoulder, right? All the medalists are not going to be able to make the game. They get an excused PTO. The league apparently is bending over backwards to.
Do you think the three Canadians on VGK are going to sit this one out?
Cassidy made the comment that it might be you have to look at the bigger picture too in this.
Right.
So I think
Absolutely. I'm thinking, yeah, they're leaning towards that. That's
I
not
think they're
gonna happen.
leaning towards no. So, you got all these other players like, hey, what about me? What about me? And we're gonna, it looks like there's gonna just be a great story where the Golden Knights march in there with a fable roster, and looks like everything is against them, and they're gonna just go right there and kick the Kings' butt. No, they're gonna lose 4-2. Golden Knights are gonna lose this game 4-2. But I will take the at least the Olympians who did decide to punch the clock, Anderson and Hurdle to score goals in the loss.
Well, Anderson's going to have a chip on his shoulder, right, in this next 25 game span.
Yeah, he's hoping he can be in the top 8 best Swedish defensemen in the National Hockey League in 2 and 4 years from now.
Well, he's an offensive defenseman, and once he really does get settled in, I really do feel he'll be able to contribute with this team.
I would agree, and he
yeah.
fits right into having another mobile defenseman in like what Shea Theodore can do.
Right, but who's going to stay back and play D? That's a big question.
Well,
VGK needs to get that.
Yeah, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, they need to get the first goal. They can't change. They can't chase in a game like this, right?
Well, they're comfortable. Give the Kings first 2 or 3 goals. That's fine. Golden Knights are comfortable with that. They've done it all darn season.
Of course, we know that the State of the Union address was Tuesday night, and just one really good, wholesome, positive note here coming out of that address. The Presidential Medal of Freedom will be presented to Connor Hellebuyck. That's what the president said. For his, he said, I've never seen a goalie play as well as Connor Hellebuyck. So that's phenomenal. And again,
yeah, I mean, listen,
it's helping to grow the game, right?
It's an absolute honor going to the White House.
Don't say that so loud.
It's an absolute honor going to the White House as a champion in a sport.
Killed me. They crushed me, man. When
there's nothing wrong with saying that.
I don't care who the president is. I just would like to go there. It just would be. I'm patriotic. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. I'll argue the scheduling could have waited, but that's obviously when the president picks up the phone, plans change and such, and you wonder. I know I'm watching the clock, but with the World Cup of hockey, if they open up the schedule a little bit from whenever the final championship game or games are, to maybe allow a little extra time.
They need some extra time. Thank you for making Locked On Golden Knights your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcasting network. We appreciate you tuning in. And don't forget to sign up today for the Locked On Everydayer Club. Use that promo code DEADLINE, and you'll receive a free month of the Everydayer Club. Join today. Use that promo code DEADLINE. Go to LockedOnPodcast.com/everydayer. And we'll see you again coming up here with our big show on Thursday. So we'll be back again on Thursday, and we'll see you again right here on Locked On Golden Knights.